Right, welcome to this episode of 10 Minute Man. This week in the chair we have a very, very, very special guest in the way and the shape and form of Mr. Mike Harvey. Mike, how you doing? COVID, welcome.
I'm doing very well, and thank you for having me.
Excellent. Thank you very much for coming along. It's a real pleasure to have you here. I'm not sure that, and I'll say this to everyone, I'm not even sure that 10 minutes is enough to actually spend with you. On an episode of 10 Minute Man, we usually try and condense quite a lot in 10 minutes. But with you, I think we're going to need 2 episodes.
I think you will. Definitely.
Well, I wanted to really introduce you. There's so many different levels we can introduce you as. I mean, obviously you've been a sportsman, you've been a gladiator. On top of that, more recently known for singing, which is unbelievable. And then in between that, you've had stints of acting, music management. You've just done so many things. And I'm sitting there thinking, I don't know how I'm going to cram all this, but we'll do our best. We're trying to get. I'm just really, really happy to see you here, and the fact that you have been doing so well, an eclectic career, and I think it's one to celebrate. For me, I think it's one to celebrate.
I think eclectic is the right word. I think for my career, where I've been, and the journeys that I've been on, I think it's the right thing to do. But it can all be explained. It's easy.
And I always have an analogy between you and some of the other people that I've seen. One in particular strikes me, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Now you've heard of him.
Yeah, trained with him.
You've trained with Arnold?
Yeah, trained with him. Gone over to Los Angeles and done a little bit before the competition. Yeah.
Unbelievable, because you was another thing, you was a bodybuilder, obviously.
Yeah,
I'm going to stay with the program, Mike, because otherwise I'm going to be all over the place with you. You will send me all over the place.
I think you should.
But with Arnold, he had 3 major careers. So he's had the bodybuilding, and that's led into, if you look at another one, a businessman. And then from there, he's gone into movies, and then from there, he's gone to politics. I want to look at your career. What I've known you to start with is, from me growing up and watching television, is gladiators. And being a gladiator, being a bullet on gladiators. Now, before we go into that, I just want to say that you were obviously, well built. You're very athletic. Still are well built, by the way. I'm sitting here feeling a little bit. I should have trained a bit before I started. But back in those days before the gladiator, you were athletic. You were boxing. And you also, were you running? You were doing something else athletic?
Well, I was in the Royal Navy, which surprises a lot of people. I was a torpedo and anti-submarine specialist.
Wow.
And then after that, I was brought into the naval team for sprinting and boxing. It was one way of getting out of all the drills, to be honest with you. So I did that and reached quite a high level. The ABAs and stuff like that.
Within the Navy, you mean?
Within the Navy. Well, I was still fighting people outside.
Okay.
So
high level was actually outside the Navy.
Outside the Navy. Oh, right. yeah. Just the fact that I was a military man. Apart from that, it was all the same, the same caliber of people on the outside, good people on the inside. So a lot of good sportsmen are all military men.
So you had that focus from young.
100%.
I mean, that does show. Now I look back at your career in your life, I sort of think to myself, well, that does show that kind of early focus and discipline. You're obviously a smart guy, but those smarts started quite young. In the sense of you had a sense of direction already.
Absolutely. I mean, I spoke to one of my directors, and they were just looking back at certain records and stuff, and they went, God, you must have been a determined man. And I had to think about that, because I didn't know whether it was determined or luck. I put it down to luck, because it's less offensive. And when I say offensive, you don't,
You're not putting people's face. That's humility. Yeah. If you say it's luck, I don't believe in luck. Yeah. I don't believe in. I believe in hard work.
No, it's hard work, but it's also having. I think I had an asset that I didn't know I had. I know I was good at sports. I know I was good at other bits and pieces. But when I started falling into the other realms, of which we'll discuss, I had to sit down at some point and say, there must be something I've got that they want. And obviously it was.
Well, how did you get into the Gladiators? Because I watched you on the Gladiators. Now, first, actually, let's go there first. So, how did you get into the Gladiators? Because was that like again an objective of yours, or was it a bit of?
No, that's probably the only thing in my life that wasn't an objective. Because what happened with that was I was competing, and they called me up twice, to be fair, and
bodybuilding competing.
Bodybuilding competing,
right, okay.
And they called me up twice, and I was too busy. Then the second year, I went for basically a fitness test, obliterated the fitness test, hence the name Bullet. Because on the 100 metres and 800 metres,
you were fast.
I was fast, so that's where the name derived from. That's where it came from.
Okay.
And yeah, and it was interesting.
Okay. And then so they called you up, and then they said, right, we want you to be on Gladiators.
Yeah. Got
and
a contract. I was thinking about what's going to happen next.
Okay.
You know, let's do what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
And then focus on that. But there was other things going on because out of all the Gladiators, I was already doing my TV stuff. My photographic stuff, my adverts.
Right.
I already knew the world. Whereas, and I think that kept me a bit more grounded.
So it's part of your portfolio.
Absolutely.
Another thing, that's what I said about in common with Arnold.
Yeah.
Very much like, let's just do this.
Yeah.
And okay, so another project. And then after Gladiators, you've done some television stuff. I mean, some obvious one. I think there's the nomination for BAFTA, the film Lock, Stock.
Done Lock, Stock.
That was with Jason Statham, obviously, well-known now, not so much at the time.
Yeah.
Was that something that they asked you to do again? Or
that was another thing where I was asked to do.
Right.
My
agent loved you.
Agent picked out. It was good. I mean, I actually did the series as well. They brought a series out after that. I did see that.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
And I played a different character in that.
Okay.
After that, I was signed up with Sony to do. I did all the PlayStation games.
Okay.
You know, I did Batman. I played Venom in that PlayStation game. Then I went on to some other PlayStation games that I was doing about London and FIFA 2008.
So this wasn't the characters. This was the voice. Was this the voice?
No, this was the characters.
The actual characters.
Yeah, the actual characters. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And they just got in touch with you again and said,
just got in touch with me. And I think what happens a
bit like I did.
Yeah. I think the thing with what you've got to do is have a formula, and the formula is if somebody asks you to do something, do it well.
Right.
In the film game, if you do it well and you're not a prima donna, they'll always call you back.
Okay.
And that's exactly what happened. I've put people up on, come on, I've got a job that you can do this.
Okay.
And they never got a call back because of their prima donna
behavior. They didn't want to get 100% maybe there and then. So you've obviously got a very strong work ethic. I mean, does that come from your military training as well, to take that background? Or was it before you went into the military, do you reckon?
I think it's before I went into the military, and it's always about your roots and your grounding and how you were brought up and what you perceive from your parents and what you learn and what you take in.
Yeah.
And like everybody else, I absorb 60% of it.
Yeah.
Whereas some children don't take any of it at all.
Yeah,
I did that, and it's helped me along in my life.
Wonderful. And it's wonderful to see you giving credit as well to the previous generation in the sense of giving you something to take into yours.
Absolutely.
Now, I'm guessing that you have then taken that and then given it into the next generation.
You have to.
Lovely. Yeah. Lovely. Well, brings me on to my next topic. Now, you have a son. And you've got, is it just one? So you've got more children?
No, I've got three boys.
Okay.
Nico, Kai, Harvey, juniors we call him.
Right.
And I've got my first daughter. She's now 17, going on 35. But
all girls are like that. They'll all run your life in some way.
Yeah, they make you learn stuff as well.
Yeah, they do, because you're open.
Yeah, absolutely.
So going on with your son, I mean, you have a son by the name of Harvey, who's done particularly well in music.
Yeah.
Known, I mean, when I was looking at music a couple of decades ago, I was into the sort of club scene, garage scene, and he was tearing it up at the time. All right, well known because that group was on the edge. Right, it was right on the edge. Tell me about the influence that you had on Harvey then, because you talked about the influence your parents had. What kind of influence did you have on him? Were you guys very close? Yeah,
we were close. I mean, it was a matter of, it was difficult in some cases because you've got a business, you've got a son, you've got a business to run, you've got your ethics. And sometimes they want to do things that they want to do that you've got to still bring them together and challenge. Yeah, but you're my dad. No, you can't. This is business. Let's get the business sorted out. And then after the business, then we can talk about something else. And that's the way you channel it, because a lot of these artists, I'm going to say, they lose focus quite quickly.
So Harvey was he was the singer, the main singer of the group.
Yeah.
The main lead singer.
Yeah.
And so
rapper.
And a rapper. And so when he was rapping, when he was singing, did he come up to you and say to you, "Oh, I've got this group going there. what do you think of it? Or did he kind of get support from you to drive that success, or was it very much him in his own right, and then you managed him afterwards?
No, you have to have some form, give him some form of support.
Okay.
And drive.
Right. So he came to you for that in the beginning, or you saw?
All my children somehow are they're very talented, they're very focused, which is good.
Yeah.
And all you've got to do is to channel that in the right way and make it work for them.
Okay.
So all it was basically advice. This is how we're going to do it. This is how you should do it. Okay. Whether they take it or not, later on down the line, that's down to them. And there's been some pitfalls. Nothing's been, rosy.
It's life.
Absolutely. Yeah. Nothing's been rosy all the way.
Yeah.
But as a parent, as a businessman, as a manager, you've got to take her off with a smooth and try and challenge him.
And you did that for him. So you saw his potential, you helped him out, got him into, and he was obviously doing very well. So he must have his own skills and talent.
100%.
But then was you then formally his manager? Was you officially his manager?
Yeah.
Or did you nominate someone?
No. I was officially his manager because he was with a company called ASM, which was managing the So Solid brand.
Okay.
And
brand at the time.
Good brand.
It was a very good brand
at the time. The main characters for me at that time was Romeo, Harvey,
yeah.
Lisa Mafia.
Yeah. Oh, you're bringing back to those days now.
So
Lisa Mafia and Romeo. Yeah.
So we pulled them forward and started to get them various gigs and jobs and manage that with a team.
Yeah. So you were involved in that whole management process.
Yeah.
So not just with Harvey, but also some of these other people as well.
Yeah. I was when they were out of work or didn't have enough work.
Okay.
I was finding various bits and pieces for them.
So look, we're going to take a break from 10 Minute Man. After the break, we're going to come back and talk to Mike Harvey some more. It's going very well, really enjoying this. And after the break, we're going to come back and talk about what other things he's been doing, because it ain't just limited to history of television. See you soon. I mean, it's fascinating to me, I'll tell you why, because a lot of people watching this might be thinking to themselves, how do you manage the relationship of being a father-in-law, and also potentially someone who's looking after, that couple's commercial interests? I mean, it's a lot to juggle.